A few weeks ago, I made a video about YouTube animators that got exposed, and one such person I featured in that video was AlexClark, who infamously leaked JaidenAnimations' face reveal during VidCon a couple of years ago. And down in the comment section, people were quite passionate in telling me that Alex isn't the only person who might be classified as an enemy of Jaiden. In fact, throughout her now 11 years on YouTube, there have been several people that might be considered an enemy of Jaiden, and many of these have since been exposed, often without Jaiden even lifting a finger. And so in this video, we'll be going through who had controversial interactions with Jaiden, why they had controversy, and what happened as a result of it. And after researching this video, I have to say that if you ever go after Jaiden, you better watch your back, because it usually doesn't end well. So with that said, let's get into it. Okay, so this first one I'm going to keep very brief because this is not the first time I've discussed it. If you want a full telling of this story, make sure to check out part 1 of my Animator series, which I'll link down in the description. For a condensed telling of the story though, Jaiden used to not have her face shown publicly, mainly due to body image issues and an eating disorder. Her channel started gaining traction in the mid-2010s though, and she decided to attend VidCon 2016. She later claimed that she wasn't ready to show her face, but she went anyway as she had agreed to do it and wanted to follow up on her promise. During the event, she realized that her face had been included in a vlog, and she messaged the person making that vlog, asking them to blur her face out, even going as far as offering to edit the video herself so that she could keep her face a secret. This creator initially agreed, but in the end decided to release the original, uncensored version anyway. And that creator was later revealed as AlexClark. But one thing I didn't know when I included this story in the first episode of Animator was that according to the comments that you guys left, he apparently featured her face reveal within the description. And after doing some research, this is true. I found a screenshot of the video where you can see that he apparently did feature it. This obviously upset Jaiden, who months later spoke about the incident in her video Why I Don't Have a Face Reveal. Fans eventually pieced things together, and for literally years afterwards sent hate towards Alex, who eventually responded to the allegations. And even to this day, he still responds to some of the comments about the situation. Regardless of how you feel about the situation, please, I implore you, do not attack anyone that I mention in this video. It's been almost a decade since Alex's controversy. I'm sure that if he could rewind time and take it back, he would. But we have to deal with the consequences of our actions. And for Alex, the consequences are near enough a decade of hate comments about the situation. I'm sure he's heard every argument, every piece of negative critique that could possibly be said about it. There is no need to pile on in his comment section. The reason I wanted to bring him up again was, first of all, it's for the sake of completion. I couldn't discuss this video without mentioning him at least once. And second, it sets us up very well for the next creator that we'll discuss. Because Alex wasn't the only creator that was cancelled because of Jaiden's face reveal video. In case you don't know him, allow me to introduce you to DaftPina, who arguably made much worse content about the situation. So after Jaiden's video about why she doesn't have a face reveal, DaftPina decided to take it upon himself to make a video about it titled How JaidenAnimations Faked Her Face Reveal. Yeah, upon hearing that, it should be raising some red flags, because what do you mean that someone is faking their face reveal? Well, within the video, DaftPina makes several arguments about her face reveal video, calling Jaiden out for all sorts of things. Now, there is plenty of meat on the bone for this one, so I won't be able to go through every single argument that DaftPina made, but I will go through the worst of them, because some of these are at best crazy assumptions, and at worst, are borderline slanderous. So here are just a few of the claims. Firstly, he thinks that the tone of her video is a charade, and I'll let him explain this for himself.
Now, there's a clear separation between her videos and their art styles. In Jaiden's regular video, My Random Thoughts, you can see she is energetic, sarcastic, and awkward. And for her art style, it's more structured. And, at least compared to the other video, is in color. But for her face reveal, she sounds depressed, is slow to talk, and she likes to end words or sentences with a dramatic break for effect.
So when you compare her Why I Don't Have a Face Reveal video to her normal content, it's a lot more somber and evokes negative emotions. Brother, that is storytelling. What else do you expect? Like, if I was gonna discuss a serious topic, would you really expect me to tell the story like this? Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, FoxAkimbo here, and today we're going to be talking about my eating disorder. So make sure to smash that like button. Like, no, of course not. Secondly, he spends a lot of the video arguing that her symptoms might not be as big of a deal as she claims, trying to pose it as some sort of weird, manipulative plea for sympathy. This is gospel, this is 100% true. Throughout his video, he tries to diagnose Jaiden with his own disorders and illnesses. He states he thinks she might have bipolar, DID, antisocial personality disorder, and borderline personality disorder, going on to speculate that she's a narcissist and that the person that she presents on screen isn't actually her. Like, I know this video was made a long time ago. It's been about 7 or 8 years by this point. Just like Alex, you know, I'm sure that by this point he regrets ever making this, but what qualifications do you have? Are you a mental health professional? Did he study mental health at university? Does he have some sort of degree that we don't know about? How could you be qualified to discuss this? Like, how is he gonna say, oh, your eating disorder that you live with, bullshit, boulder dash, but actually I diagnose you with a god complex? But on a more serious note, DaftPina then makes the claim that Jaiden was quite different in temperament between how she described herself at the time and how she came across in her own content and in other people's. If you guys will indulge me, I'll come clean here and talk about myself for a moment. In late 2021 and early 2022, I was having quite a rough time in life. It wasn't disastrous by any means, I wasn't hanging on by a thread, and I'm sure that the worst days of my life are probably still yet to come. But it wasn't easy. I was in the 3rd year of my university course, and I was directing a project that, at all times, from the offset, was tremendously behind. I also had quite a tough home life during that time, and without getting into specifics, I feared for my safety quite a lot of the time at home. The iceberg trend was also dying out. If you guys don't know, I used to make iceberg videos. And because the iceberg trend was dying a little bit, my views were falling. So whether it be at school, at work, or at home, things were quite tough. Every aspect of my life sucked pretty hard, to the point when, and this is gonna sound crazy, but when Russia invaded Ukraine, I genuinely feared that I was gonna get drafted to the military. It sounds crazy now, I know it does, but at the time, I genuinely feared for my life. That week in February 2021, that was the culmination of it. And I probably averaged about 500 calories a day for the week. All of this stuff that was negative to my physical and mental well-being was going on behind the scenes, and not a single person noticed within my content. To be honest, if you were watching my content, I don't think that you would have realized. And I don't judge a single person for not picking up on it, because it wasn't something that I let on in my content. I always had a smile on my face. Don't get me wrong, there were definitely signs. I don't know if I've ever looked as unhealthy as I did during that time in my life. But it was only when I started looking back at the situation a few months later, once my university project was finished, once I moved out of that house, once views started going back up, once it was clear that I wasn't going to be parachuting into Donbass, that I realized just how bad things were for me at the time. If you would have asked me years ago, like when this video initially dropped, then I might have agreed with DaftPina. But having gone through a time like that, I now completely get how Jaiden might have seemed fine on the surface, but deep down was genuinely going through things. I mean, even in her video, she makes it clear that on the surface, she made it seem like everything was fine. Personally, it's why I think that mental health issues can be a silent killer, because in my experience, most people that I know that have struggled in the past, they've not gone moping and doping around 24/7. DaftPina also argued that if this was actually serious, then she should have taken some time off YouTube and seen a professional. He theorized that she had thrown Alex under the bus just so that she could make a quick buck and produce a viral video. He claimed that she knew this was almost guaranteed to see a huge view count. And he tries to use the fact that her Why I Don't Have a Face Reveal video was monetized as evidence that this was motivated by money. It's just weak source arguments all around. And I also want to add this clip in because I think it's aged very well.
I think deep down, She knows that she won't get that far with making storytelling animations, and she uses her face reveal to do her best to cling to all scraps of fame before it goes away.
I think that this clip really accurately demonstrates the speculativeness, if that's a word, of his content. It was backed by his opinion, which in large parts he was presenting as fact. He was trying to say that this channel was bound to fall off, a channel that already had 2 million subscribers and therefore already had made a pretty penny from YouTube, and one that ever since has grown by like 500%. That was just the tip of the iceberg of all the things in this video that he was wrong about. By all accounts, DaftPina likely saw an error in his ways, as about a year later, he would come out to announce that he was deleting his video on her, claiming that some of the arguments he made were misdirected or misinformed. To which Jaiden responded by saying that it was fine. To be honest, I think that she took it very well, all things considered, because how is someone taking the time out of their day to make a video like that? The comments in the re-upload agreed that this came off as completely over the line, and to be honest, quite spiteful. I really don't know why someone would make content like this. I'm sure if you asked him now, even he would struggle to answer. And don't get me wrong, it's not like people don't fake their illnesses on the internet. I've made 2 videos about that exact subject. But I feel like unless it's blatantly obvious, like in the case of Ticks and Roses or the guys, I forgot their name, but the 2 brothers that were dying of vertigo, you're gonna have to have facts and evidence back up your points if you're going to accuse someone of faking their poor mental health. That said, even DaftPina himself would later agree that this video was a huge mistake. He's since apologized for a loss of his older content and his videos to do with online drama. Again, this story is several years old now, and I don't mean to open up old wounds, but it would be impossible to make this video without mentioning it. But with DaftPina out of the way, that means that we're roughly halfway through this video, and I'd just like to remind you that if you haven't already, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And also let me know down in the comment section if you want to see more The Enemies of Blank creator that got exposed, who should I do next? And I'll let you do that as we get to the 3rd creator of this video. By now he needs no introduction. This is BoyInABand. So I'll try to make this one quick because if I'm not mistaken, I've already brought up this story like 2 or 3 times in the past 2 years. I definitely spoke about it in my upload about deleted YouTube music videos, and I assume I also spoke about it in my Downfall on YouTuber's Iceberg. Because in case you don't know, BoyInABand and Jaiden used to be friends, and one of the most popular videos on Jaiden's channel was her empty music video, which she made in collaboration with Dave from BoyInABand. However, if you know this man's reputation on the internet, then you'll be well aware that several years ago, he was cancelled by a group of his ex-girlfriends. These women accused him of all sorts of abusive behaviour. They accused him of being a pedophile. They accused him of using his status and polyamory as a way to manipulate women. And most relevant to what we're discussing today, they accused him of promoting ED. And this is crazy because throughout his collaboration with Jaiden, he was trying to come across as an ally for ED. It's possible, if the allegations are in fact true, that he made the video whilst also promoting it to partners. When the news came out, Jaiden took her video down, which insinuated to many fans of hers that she had formally cut ties with him. Given how vulnerable she must have been with him, she would have let him into the deepest and darkest parts of her life. And so to hear the rumours that he might have been promoting it behind the scenes must have been utterly heartbreaking for Jaiden. And given the entire situation, provided that it is true, I think that it's beyond fair to say that BoyInABand was exposed, and exposed pretty badly in this instance. But from a story that I'm sure the bulk of the people watching this are already aware of, to one that might have been a bit more under the radar, we turn our attention to Turkey Tom. Now this is another one that I'm only going to mention very briefly because to describe Tom as an enemy of Jaiden's is using the term very loosely. But once more, just for the sake of completion, I thought that I'd mention it. A couple of years back, when Tom was getting his start on YouTube, he made what might be considered his first ever viral video. Titled The Odd Ones Out, Tim Tom, Speechy and Tabs, criticism not welcome. Within that video, he critiques various creators within the animation community, including Jaiden, who he said had good content when she was the one that was actually doing the work.
And Jaiden has some nice animations when she's the one actually animating them.
This video saw its fair share of backlash, receiving roughly 15,000 dislikes, but it wasn't aimed towards Jaiden, as its title suggests. The remark he made about her was just kind of thrown in at the end. And after this video, she contacted him about it, but it wasn't to get mad. In a follow-up video, Tom shared a Discord screenshot of their interactions together, and it showed her inviting his input. So while this was described as a war on the animation community, a community that Jaiden played a prevalent part in, this was light critique and nothing more. That said, this next case was much more widespread and much more recent, with it going mega viral last year. This is the one that I'm sure a lot of you guys have been waiting for. Let's discuss Nux Taku's strange obsession with Jaiden. So Nux Taku, in case you don't know him, is a 29-year-old VTuber, perhaps most famous for his role on Some Ordinary Podcast, or maybe for his videos discussing anime, or maybe for his strange obsession with JaidenAnimations, something that is so noteworthy it even has a page on Know Your Meme. The crux of this is that throughout the years, Nux Taku has made several videos reacting to Jaiden's content, but he does it in quite a strange way. For some reason, he makes it seem as though him and Jaiden are much closer than they actually are. For example, JaidenAnimations teaches me about Pokemon 2-player Nuzlocke. JaidenAnimations' first D&D campaign was bonkers! And perhaps my personal favourite, and the one that really triggered this, goodbye, Jaiden and I had a great 10 years on YouTube, all things end. Okay, when you hear this, it makes it seem like the two of them are in the same boat. It makes it seem like they're friends, and that they're sharing this message together. But that could not be further from the truth. In reality, it seemed to audiences that he was just parasocially gatecrashing her life, to the point where people online started to notice that any time Jaiden would do something, whether that be complete a Pokemon Nuzlocke, or play D&D, or celebrate 10 years on YouTube, Nux Taku would be there to say they completed a Pokemon Nuzlocke, that they played D&D, that they celebrated 10 years on YouTube. Like, what do you mean that you and Jaiden both found out that you have ADHD? My right honourable friend, this is not a team sport! And if you look in the comment section of this video, it's just filled with people saying that he had a weird, creepy obsession with her. It got to a point where viral tweets were being made about it. People made comic strips about it. Nux Taku even claimed to be receiving death threats because of it. Which, if it's true, is way over the line, of course. But even the less extreme fans were asking, who invited bro to the team? And this escalated so much that even other YouTubers started picking up on it and making drama videos about how Nux Taku is just trying to be a part of the team. Overall, to Jaiden's fans, this came across as quite parasocial and a little bit awkward. But Nux Taku, he didn't see it that way. Instead, he said this about the situation.
This is one of my favorite dramas I've ever been in. So of these 2,000 videos, I probably have like 10 videos reacting to JaidenAnimations videos, maybe 15. This is not a huge number, but the people that watch me and are canceling me over the JaidenAnimations drama probably don't know math. That said, people think I have this unhealthy parasocial relationship with JaidenAnimations to the point that, apparently, the police were called that I am a stalker. Yeah, because I reacted to her videos. This is how crazy it's gotten. I've been getting death threats. I've been getting, like, these weird messages and emails talking about how they want to dox me to protect JaidenAnimations. It has been getting a little wild.
Fortunately, over the last several months, things have cooled down. And so, Nux Taku was the final nemesis of Jaiden to get into a controversy. But I firmly believe that he shan't be the last. And I firmly hope that this shan't be the last video of mine that you watch. If you're looking to watch more of my content, then I'd love to recommend the 4th episode of my Animahem series. In that video, I discuss another popular animator in the mid-2010s, Andre Turbaya, or Turbia? However you pronounce his last name. We also cover animator predators and more. Plenty of content if you're into seeing the dark depths of the animation community. Click on the screen right now to give it a watch. Aside from that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.